Hello, my friends. I hope everyone is doing really great. Okay, so we have a few more updates. Those I will be called as May 3rd updates. And thank you so much, all of you volunteers that are helping to type all this information and bring to the proper handbooks that they have to fit into one of our 10 department handbooks. So thank you so much for everyone. Okay, I have a few words here about school. So for school, finally I have decided. So let's see how we will do it. So let's say first about the South Hemisphere. So they will have off the whole January, the whole July, and the 2 last weeks of December. They will have 200 school days, and classes will start on February 1st or the first Monday after that. Okay? All right. So now let's say a few words about the North Hemisphere. They will have off the whole June, the whole July, 2 last weeks of December. They will also have 200 school days, and they will start on August 1st or the first Monday after that. And this will be for preschools and schools of all grades, from infants to 14th grade. And so schools will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, because it's better for children to have a good after-school program and be safe, so parents can work and be at their residential community at 6:20 or so when the children will arrive, or they will be the ones picking them up. Okay, so it's also mandatory for all preschools and schools from infants to 14th grade to be open on summer and winter vacations for parents that work. Every parent gonna work, but I mean for parents that are working. Thank you. Because mandatory for parents also to have vacation weeks. And it's mandatory for all schools of all types to be completely closed from infants to 14th grade during the spring and winter break. During the spring and winter break, parents that have children up to the end of first grade, they cannot work, even that grandparents can watch them. Okay? They have to be home, have vacation as well, be with their children and have fun as well. For families that have children second grade and above, parents can work or take off if grandparents are watching their children, live in the same residential communities and can watch them. Okay? Okay, so let's say a few other things. So it's mandatory for every county to have crops as well that are needed in their area, because such as for grains and cotton. So some type of food, what is needed, because that will give job to people, and once that many families and parents need to work something else, you cannot stay planting all day. So maybe a few, like 4 or so, I think 4 items, 2 or 4, that's most needed in each region, and to have the workers needed. All right, okay. So, and cotton for sure, because the most sustainable for clothing for future years. Okay? And also for shoes, materials for shoes, production in high scale for these things, because people need shoes, right? So they can be the sustainable items I said, including bamboo and pineapple crusts and things like that. Okay? All right. The only thing I'm going to tell you after, it's for cold countries, if they can have rabbits for their sweaters, because cotton that is too thick, first they don't protect too well, right? And they're too thick, they're too heavy. So if we're going to have that option, or if we're going to have the synthetic option. But one day that's gonna end, because we're not going to keep extracting petroleum. So I will let you know if we have any other options for us to make shoes, but those are confirmed. And up to four crops, and only where it's needed. I think 4 we can have for everywhere. Yes, let's have four crops everywhere for what's the most needed. Can be lentils, can be beans, what could be. With machines that are like hand driven, right? A couple goes and I think they push the machine, or we have very small machines, cannot even be called tractors, but that can be use a solar panel, okay? Because we're not going to have huge tractors, as we said before, but even small ones we can consider, very, very small ones, let's say, where the person can sit on it, like small mowers. I don't know if they can prepare the soil, but I don't know if they can harvest. But let's see, small tractors, very small tractors, ran by solar panels. And that will last, of course, for many decades. Okay? All right. Okay, so now let's say a few words about the peace points. Okay, so the peace points online, we have 4 types, right? So from day of notice, that's today, you're hearing this email right now, you're going to start on a piece of paper. And if you don't have a paper yet, you just try to do in your mind, right? Everything we have been teaching, you're going to start practicing, going to get your points. So the first one is on paper for the whole family, because that's more sustainable instead of having everyone their own. And afterwards, they can have their own on paper for older children and teens. Okay. And young children, if they're motivated, sure, let's do it. Okay, that's a number 2. So the number 3 will be at the organization launching day. We will start the points online. And then the number 4, it's for new marriages. As soon as the person get married, they start their new points. Okay? And then we have a reset for everyone. So I thought the best would be to the years ending in 4 and all the years ending in 8. They are not really the right distance from one to another, but it's okay. They're good family numbers. So the families need to use their points for vacation, hotels they're staying, and for everything else we said they need points, right? They can even to be department directors and things, so they're gonna count and start again from 0. Okay, so the points will be counted. So before January of this new year's, until December, right? Until December 30th. Let's put 30th, no less for the last minute. We will count the points, and that will be staying somewhere online registered, because for people that want to apply, for example, to be governors or presidents of their country, they will have those points already, how many points the family got during that time, and then start all over. This will also motivate people to use their points, otherwise they can accumulate and stay home, don't go on vacations, don't do anything different, Okay? All right. Okay, the dentist and the doctor appointments will be for every 6 months for up to 2 years of the organization launching day. So this way we will know that everyone got good practices for health and also for dental practices, that everyone is good, and have good checkups for these 2 first years. After that, once a year, I think is plenty. Okay? And and the visits will be shared most as possible during vacation weeks that the families will be taken, right? And I think that will work. And also along the year, of course, right? Because the clinic's going to be open. So I think 2 years is plenty. Every 6 months, 6 months. And after that, once a year, because everyone's going to be healthy, not eating sugar anymore. So I might change for 4 years, but I think 2 years, let's focus on 2 years, I think is possible. Yes, 2 years, it's possible. Everyone going to be healthy for sure in 2 years. Okay? All right, thank you. Okay, so the other thing is that we want people to really go to state and national parks, and some are really far away. So it will be mandatory for all state and national parks to have 20 apartments, at least 20 apartments, and up to 40, no more. So 20 for list, up to 40. So, or 20 or 40, because we're going to stay in even numbers. So families can go and visit, take their days. For people to have the opportunity to have the urban buses right there in front of the state and national parks, and not have hotels far away at the city, then take the bus. We don't need that. Already have the buses. So the urban bus schedule will be this way. So for vacation days will be every day, 4 times a day. Okay? So for sure, one really early in the morning, one really late in the evening, right? Like 5 o'clock, for example, I think is good. And in the morning can be like to arrive there at 8, right? Arrive, and leaving from different cities nearby at 7 or so, right? I think that is good. Yeah, so that's really reasonable. Now, I might improve a little bit on the hour if you can arrive there at 7 and people will leave their homes at 6 for the most popular weekdays. Let's think about that. For school weeks, the state and national parks will be open only 2 times a week during the weekdays, from Monday to Friday. That can be Wednesday and Friday, for example. Okay? All right. Or Tuesday, maybe better. Tuesday and Friday. Yeah. So it will be Tuesday and Friday. Okay. And buses will run 4 times a day, really early, really late, and about maybe 11 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, for example, right? So people can go, come back, and in the afternoon they also can go and come back, something like that. Or at 11 and 1, so people can stay longer and new people arrive. Okay, so I think we can improve that, but that's a good range. And for school days, weekends, they are going to be open the whole year. So it's also mandatory for people to sign up for hotels they want to go. They can do 6 months sign up ahead every year. So up to December of 1 year, they already sign up for the following 6 months from January until the end of June. I think it's good, and first come, first served. And when people click on the county, will be the hotel's page right there inside the county they're going to. Because over there, they will already have all the information from the county. the hotel, the restaurants, the parks, the festivals they're having, or special shows, right? Okay. And the shows on season time we can have every weekend. Saturday afternoon will be the show time. And for theaters, will be the same way. It can be Friday and Saturday if they have school, and 4 times a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday during vacation days. Because some families will be working with that. They plan, they practice, and then they perform. And everything we're going to be based in points for people to achieve. That work is mandatory. It's mandatory for people to get out of the house. Mandatory. Okay, and they have this 8 weeks vacation, but it's mandatory for them to get out the house. Important for them. Regular people until 64 years old. And also for retired people as well, they still need to go out. They can't stay home the whole year. It's not good. People need to do different things and have fun, right? Okay, so now let's say a few words about parents' vacation. So it's mandatory for families to have at least 8 days in a hotel per year. These hotels can be the simple hotels at the state and national parks, can be resorts, can be, in other states, if they have the train, right? Can be in different places, all right? 8 days minimum per year. And it's mandatory for them to have 8 weeks vacation per year. I think that's really reasonable, because right now people are having 1 or 2 weeks vacation, some people, right? The whole year is not positive. We need more than that. So I think 8 weeks vacation is good. So people have time to enjoy themselves, stay home, plant their gardens, have time to take care of that gardens, have time for vacation, have time to study, have time to play with their children, right? Okay, so I think that's really reasonable. All right, we're doing really great. So here, let's continue on updates May 3rd. Okay, for shoes, I already decided now. Each county website will have, with the help of the organization volunteers, will already have written 4 different materials that will be produced at each county, because that's the only way. 2 is too little, because if we have a type of pest in the future centuries or so, and then we don't have 1 material, for example, and then 2, if we lose 1, the 1 left is not enough. So let's plant 4 different materials. And then they can plant more or less. They have to plant all 4. But they will plant more what can be produced more, but they have to keep planting the others as well. So this way, each county will see if it's easier for them to plant bamboo or pineapple or raise rabbits. We have to figure out something on cold regions, right? That's sustainable for families to be making those materials, okay? And for sweaters, okay, so for warm countries, sweaters, the new sweaters will be made by cotton only, because that's really good, positive, durable, and they are very easy to wash and so on. For now, we will give to the whole planet synthetic blankets, because they are really, really durable and they're really warm, even though they're thin, until we plant all this cotton that we want in a sustainable way for plantations to last forever, right? Changing planting sites and so on. For cold countries, we will use cotton, but once they cannot be planted too much in certain areas, I think the most sustainable is to get another type of fiber that I don't know yet which one could be. If need to, what we can add to it, this fiber. So the volunteers will let us know what is this fiber that we can use in countries that cotton cannot be planted, because we are not going to have huge greenhouses. We can plant some, right? So how will be the most sustainable? And I think for everyone, we can have many synthetic blankets really made, washed, dry well, and placed in plastic bags, right? To be used in the future until we get all this plantation, a few years. So to be used at the end of the century or so, we can keep, I think it's reasonable, because it will take some time, because cotton, we have a lot of production of cotton right now, but most are GMOs. So we need to be planting them and harvesting them and see how can be sustainable for them to be strong. So just for us to be worry-free, get blankets, right? And houses we also have heat, but just in case, we can keep clothes and sweaters and blankets, for each county to have a certain amount in case of an emergency. Every family can have something. Okay? All right. I don't know how much. Not too much. Just some. Until we catch up with all this planting and production. And if they are well taken, washed and dry and put in bags, they won't get hurt for decades. Okay? All right. So let's say they will be called storage, right, for clothes storage, and who will be in charge will be people from the city office in case it's needed. Okay, and then we can keep for one day when it's needed, right? If it's needed, it stays there, because we're not producing more synthetic ones. This is already decided, because they're made of plastic or petroleum, and we're not going to use these resources, right? These raw materials, we're not going to use anymore. For people that use their blankets, they will be washed 4 times a year, and for people that use them only on winter, they will wash them soon after winter in the first week or first 4 weeks of spring, right? Okay, so when the days start to warm up. And it's mandatory for everyone to wash twice a year, in January and July, because everyone has vacation those months. Okay, for fishing and hunting, I think it's sustainable for everyone. It's mandatory to fish at least 1 time a year and to hunt at least 1 time a year. Why is that? Because in the future of our humanity, if needed, they know how to do it. Okay? I just don't know yet if they have to get something. I think if they just try, that is fine, right? Okay. And hunting can be anyone from the list of extinction list, right, that we are making, or the authorized list. Okay, those two lists, because they're different, right? One is to really get the most as possible for them to really be extinct one day, and pray and for them to go to the right locations for people to be able to get them and kill them, or for them to die by themselves. And the other is authorized list that people can get if needed. So let's do like that, fishing and hunting. 1 time a year for everyone, that's mandatory. They do not have to get anything, but they have to go and practice, learn the tools, how to do it. And of course, we're not using guns, we are using other methods. Okay? So just in case one day in the future something happens, people don't have food, they still have some animals that they can have. Yes, and we are going to have a list of authorized animals. For now, let's say for this century, right? And for all following years, because it might change. So let's have two separate lists. Or just one list. Yeah, I think one list made now that will be forever the same. And hunting in the woods can be mammals, in general, mammals. And nothing will be waste. Things will be properly used. And as I said, we have these butchers that people can cut the meat properly if it's a big animal. If it's a small animal, such as a wild turkey, and then I guess they bring to the residential community. Yeah, the list for extinct animals and the authorized animals will be forever, so we have to think well, and organization volunteers will say how that can be done. Okay, for lakes that will be divided by, if there are a few different counties around, they are not going into the water, such as when, for example, cut a pizza for explaining children on how to do fractions, for example. We are not going inside the lake, we just go to the borders, okay? Because the rules and guidelines to manage each lake will already be written. So everyone that has a connection with the same lake or river needs to have the same rule and guideline listed at their county and printed, of course, with the same rules and guidance for everyone that will be fishing there, will be, and water, sewage water cannot go in there, things like that. So all county special rules and guidelines will be printed as well. All counties combined with all rules and guidelines, not for the 28 weeks, but for afterwards, the permanent ones, will be printed, and each state will have their printed version. Just in case something happened online, we have the printed version. All printed version will be offered at all educational sites, and including the preschool. So we have 4 and and at public libraries, not at preschools. Sorry, not preschools, because we'll be really too used to Liro, but at public libraries. Okay, so it's online, and this for other places. Yes, an improvement here. Let's have the preschools as well, because teachers need to check something. They will have it, right? They can also study a little bit while the little, for example, the children are napping, so it's available for them. The state version, right, with all information about the counties that are special rules and guidelines for each county. Oh, sorry, we're not having for preschool. Only for the state ones will be only offered at the 3 educational sites: schools, adult education, university, and at the public library. Okay? And for all schools will be available little printed, very thin books with their own county rules and guidelines that won't be the whole state combined, but the small versions. So it's forbidden to go to very hot lakes or very hot waters, and we will have a definition, the degrees and how hot can be for each one. So Andrew gonna say that how hot can be the water. All caves will be closed and covered up really properly, so no burn will be going now or in the future. And a sign will be made, right, to make sure any past buyers or people that used to go No signs, no signs. They will properly be closed with concrete if needed, okay, to avoid people to be digging afterwards. And it's forbidden, everyone knows, because everyone gonna be studying about everything, right? So it's forbidden and that's it. So a sign will be posted only during construction, all right? A sign that is during these 28 weeks for all the caves. So the only extraction of natural resource we're gonna have is for the salt. That's the only one authorized. And I think we don't need the caves as well. We can cut from the top instead of digging caves. I think that's more sustainable. Because caves, they haven't, they keep going, and it's not good. So our weather gonna be pretty good, right? Won't be pollution or anything else. So we're gonna use the same salt but digging from the surface and not digging caves. That's already decided for salt. I think that's the most sustainable and positive for our future. All the salt mines that have visitors and things like that, all that's gonna stop. We're gonna take what we can from the surface going down, and all those caves will be closed down from the sides, going inside of them, because they're not needed, not sustainable. If anyone can prove me the opposite, just let me know, and then we can improve the handbooks as well. So people now, during the 28 weeks, every old towel, old cotton, fabric, let's keep a few, because we're going to clean up many things. We're going to need a lot of cleaning, right? So let's keep, if they don't have, of course, bad words or bad stamp on it, or big logos, or things like that. So let's keep fabric, because they're very useful for many things, and mostly for these 28 weeks. After that, we're just going to keep the cleaning towels that we really need and really use. So napkins are something that we really don't need, right? So we can have for special events, that's okay, right? Special events, but not on a daily basis. They're going to be small and always placed in a center of the table. For people that really need, can have one, right, at all educational sites, hotels, restaurants, but not too big. That's important, because we're learning how to be sustainable. And I will give you the measurements afterwards. For educational sites, will be really small, right, because not needed. And for hotels, restaurants, places for events, can be a little bigger. Okay, so now I have some items from the same page that we had some updates for May 2nd, so some leftover items, okay? All right, so it's mandatory to cut the peelings at each person's kitchen before they put in a compost bin, because they're fresh, they're not melting, they're not sticky. Okay, so people already cut banana, anything that is left over, peelings in general, they go to the compost in a ready form. And if it's any paper, they cut small and already put there. Okay, that's okay, because our ink gonna be sustainable afterwards. All right, the other thing is that we are not going to have, for example, don't let people go to a lake or a river, because they're sacred. All water of the ocean, all fresh water is sacred, because they give us life. Without water we cannot survive, and without land we cannot survive as well here on earth. But we're not going to forbid people to go to those places, only if it's harmful. Crocodiles, what is there? piranhas, until they're completely extinct. Okay. Because some places they have these special things, we're not going to have anything like that. You cannot enter because it's sacred. Or like some countries say that cows are sacred. Some countries say that elephants are crazy. But cows are poor them. They don't have food. They're very skinny in the middle of the street, not in a good environment because they're sacred. Which sacred is that? It's not right. Okay, all those animals are on extinction list anyways. So they're gonna be killed. If the local people want to eat them, they can eat them and freeze what's left over. Otherwise, they will be whichever each county has in a most sustainable way. They can be incinerated. They can be cut in pieces and sent to semi-arid and desert land. We have to think that we need those things to be used in the best way as possible. If people don't want to eat, then we have to figure out what's the next step, right? Because some countries they eat dogs, some countries they don't. So whatever the population accepts to eat that meat, that will be done, okay? Because some people need food, and if they really don't want and don't need, so incinerate the animals. But we are not having animals buried with whole bones. We're not having that. That's already decided. And dripping blood in aquifers, for so many years. This we are not having. So we're going to have them here on surface in one way or another. Okay? So it's forbidden to have mysterious treasures, movies such as Indiana Jones, and all those things that are not positive, not needed for anyone. Okay? And for games, we can do a type of treasure hunt with hints, but we have to figure out what the treasure will be, right? What the gift. We can even call another name, but they go this way, that way in nature. It's a game that children can have fun. But what the treasure will be a special game, what will be? Because we don't want to give things to people, so they won't keep having collections of things. And food, what type of food we can put there? Nuts, seeds. So we just have to figure out. Please think about ideas and let us know of gifts. And the name of this, instead of treasure hunt, what can be called? So the two things, please find out and have it ready. Or talk to Andrew. Andrew have good ideas, he can answer you. So it's also forbidden to get any wild animal to tame or to feed, okay? Because they need to find their own food, all right? Such as people give food to deers, to hummingbirds, and many others, all right? We're not doing that. We're going to have the ones that are authorized to raise for our needs, such as chickens, ducks, that they can reproduce naturally. And we're not getting other animals unless they are on the authorized list to hunt and eat or on the forbidden list. The other thing that I'm not sure yet, it's how we are going to do production area and commercial plazas. If we are going to do completely separate areas and so one produce and the other sell, or if we're going to produce on a back and sell up front on the same building. What would be the most sustainable for transportation and everything else? Okay, so if it's better, so I don't know about that yet. I need to check that with the security, right? That's and if it's sustainable. So and then I will let you know. That's for all the production of all items. Okay, so during the 28 weeks, all departments need to have a meeting, department directors and team leaders every single day, okay, from Monday to Friday. And for residential community, they need onset for updates, okay? So they need to have it written on their work site. So they stop a few minutes before and have written down what they did. And for residential communities, for the garden work needs to be done on Saturday. And we also have the monthly meeting, right? Monthly report with everyone's signature after showing the report on the TV. Every residential community needs a TV, the clubhouse, right? Or we can have in a pool in a covered area and place a proper cover for dust if needed. So people can watch documentaries and movies on Friday night and Saturday night for the families that want. And it's mandatory to watch at least 2 movies and 2 documentaries outside with other people. So, people are not staying too much only inside their own homes. And couples have their own cell phone to watch movies and documentaries when they want as well, but not um, children, teens, and young adults. They have to go outside. So let's do 4 times a year, right? At least 4 times a year is mandatory. And if the children, teens ask, the parents have to go a little more. Let's say if they ask up to 8 times a year. Okay? After that, parents can decide if they want to go or not. So 4 times mandatory. Total of 8 times if children ask for more, 8 or 10. I think 8 times. And after that, it's up to each parent. Uh, Children and teens are not going to watch movies or documentaries on parents' cell phone because there are too many, it doesn't fit, it's not good, not appropriate, not needed. I might get instead of 8, 10 times because they can have a social fun time, right? Something different to do. So, and you can decide that 8 or 10 times if the children, teens ask. Okay, the reports will be for the edible garden, right? Will be done on Saturday up to 2 p.m. Okay, I think that's plenty of time, and for the department directors from the week also by 2 p.m. for those that need to do the videos, right, and put them online to the Peace app, their records book, and also the ones that need to be sent something on email. Okay, now this is for the families that are already applying our organization rules and guidelines. For them to start taking notes, they listen, right, and already take notes to talk to their children, teens, because they are going to have this as well at the school, but it's important for parents to be talking about the same subject, for them to see that's education that's combined and not school and house teaching different things. All right, so here it is. We got more updates. Thank you.